too much without listening to myself, and I keep wishing way too much instead of doing something else. Wishing for more wishes, cause I keep on hitting misses, keep on rubbing on these lamps like I'm cleaning dirty dishes. Wish I not only knew the difference between wrong and right, but that I could live it out so that I could be a better light. Take me to the mountain, let me shout it out. Is there anybody out there to
pray for me and pray for you? No matter who you are praying to, send them out cause I need it now. Ain't enough till it's raining down. So pray for me and pray for you. I'll pray for you.
Yeah, there's power in your prayer, just like there's power if you dare to find your power everywhere that you go. Words are powerful, so is silence. We all need reminders that nobody is an island, oh no. So don't leave me alone. Wish I not only knew the difference between wrong and right, but that I could live it out so that I could be a better light. Take me to the mountain, let me shout it out. Is there anybody out there to
pray for me and pray for you? No matter who you are praying to, send them out cause I need it now. Ain't enough till it's raining down. So pray for me and pray for you. I'll pray for you.
for me, yeah. I pray for you. We're down on our knees again, so what else can we do but
pray for me and pray for you. No matter who you are praying to, send them out cause I need it now. Ain't enough till it's raining down. So pray for me and pray for you. I'll pray for you.
Welcome to the Muddied Waters of Freedom with your hosts, Matt Wright and Mohammed Shaker.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to the Vanguard. For Mohammed M. Shaker, Esquire, I am Matthew Wright, and together we are not wild stallions. We are traversing the muddied waters of freedom. Did you hear the most fantastic news? Actually, first and foremost, let's thank Low Tide Kava Bar.
Let us thank Low Tide Kava Bar
And
for
Jay.
the kava we're drinking today.
Thanks, Jay.
Thanks, Jay.
Thanks, Sean. Bullet.
Bulla.
Did you hear the greatest news that has come out ever?
No, what is the news?
The greatest news that has ever come out ever is that the possibly final installment of the Bill and Ted trilogy has been announced and is coming out.
Oh, yes. Excuse me. Yes, I did hear that. And I noticed that Sean, the biggest movie nerd amongst us, I believe he's a bigger nerd than you are, although you're on the same level technically, in my opinion.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, he didn't know that. You were picking on him for that because he didn't know that it was coming out.
Yes, Keanu Reeves shared that photo yesterday of him and Alex Winter in the phone booth, and immediately all was right in the world. Because what America needs now, more than anything else, is the Wild Stallions.
I saw some people saying, like, as much as you hate the guy, it was during Trump's presidency that we got Bill and Ted 3.
That's right. I don't care what you think about any of his other policies or anything else that happens during his presidency. We have Bill and Ted 3 coming out while he was president, therefore making it the greatest presidency of all time.
Yeah. I mean, even The Last Jedi came out during his presidency, and that's one of the best Star Wars movies.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would, 100%. That was one of the best. Dick. It was one of the best Star Wars movies. But yeah, so I have actually seen every Bill and Ted movie in the theater.
Yeah, I haven't. I've only seen the first one.
Yeah. So I am so excited about this movie. I cannot wait.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that I dressed up as, Adam and I.
I remember. Yeah.
We dressed up
Halloween, right?
Yeah, Halloween. Yeah. We dressed up as Bill and Ted.
Yes.
And Sean dressed up as Rufus. And Adam's roommate TJ dressed up as Abe Lincoln.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was. I cannot wait for this movie to come out.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. I have actually been following the IMDb page for Bill and Ted 3 for 5 years now, waiting for a notification.
Yeah.
And it came through.
Hell yeah.
I was so excited. But yes, greatest news ever, greatest president ever because of this. So, yeah.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
That's good.
Super excited. Super excited.
I can tell.
I know. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to just have a whole bunch of people running around just saying excellent all the time.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh, is he going to be able to put that persona back on or what?
He's
Obviously, he's an actor,
he's
right?
never lost that persona.
Yeah.
Everything
he is the same
every movie he's Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, but he's really different in that movie though.
No.
I can't say that he's like he is as Neo.
Whoa. I know Kung Fu.
Yeah. Okay.
Whoa.
But not the excellent.
Well, yeah, I mean, all he has to do is say 3 syllables as opposed to 2 that he normally sticks to.
That's funny, man.
But yeah. So yesterday I spent most of my day here at the house, and I rewatched, I should say, The World's End.
Mm-hmm.
That movie is gives a very strong case against communism.
Really?
Yeah.
What's it called?
The World's End.
And it's on Netflix?
No.
Oh, damn.
I'm not going to say that I pirated it, but I found it online.
Okay. Is this a new movie?
No,
I need to watch this?
2012.
Okay, I need to watch that.
Yeah, 2012, Simon Pegg from the people that did Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the funny thing, there's actually, we may have talked about this, there's a lot of movies out there that are very anti-authoritarian, and some of them, in literature, anti-communist, that a lot of authoritarians and communists seem to really enjoy.
Yeah.
Like the Hunger Games, like the big ones. I think Ender's Game is considered one of them to an extent. Divergent, the Divergent series, I would say. The Hunger Games, The Giver, and Orwell's books, which includes Animal Farm, probably the most anti-communist of all the books.
Right.
But yeah. So what's the movie about?
So it's about 5 friends in England who go on the Golden Mile, which happens in a city in England, and it's 12 bars over the course of 1 mile. and they tried it back when they were in high school, or what do they call it not high school, whatever they call it in England.
Yeah.
They tried it back then, and they couldn't finish, and then they all kind of went their separate ways. And then the main guy, Danny King, gets them all back together to try it again, even though they all hate him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so they're going through, and then slowly they find out, and this won't ruin anything because it's early on, you find out that the town has been taken over by robots. But they're not robots because they said that they weren't. Mm-hmm. And they called them blanks because they couldn't come up with a different name.
Makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
They were just like blanks.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end, and this may be a bit of a spoiler, is like they had to choose whether to join the collective or not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would love to watch that.
Yeah. And he said, you know, one of the lines in it is like, we're human. We just want to get fucked up and have fun.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Great movie. I was like watching it last night, and it was the first time I had seen that movie not being fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was watching it while I was sober.
Yeah.
Like I like no coffee, nothing all day long, and I was just watching it, and I was like, huh.
Yeah, yeah.
This movie is very anti-communist. I was very excited about it.
Yeah, yeah. The rest of the ones I did mention just now is, I guess it's more of individualism rising up from the collective after its establishment. The Giver, if you've read or seen the movie.
No.
Wow, really?
Mm-hmm.
That is a good movie, man. And they literally are communes. And there is like a council that tells everybody. They assign people on what they're going to do based on, like, I guess, testing scores and all that. When you get to a certain age, you know, you get assigned what job you're going to do. I believe who you're going to marry or copulate with for the rest of your life.
Isn't that how your people do it?
No.
No?
Nope.
You don't get assigned who you're going to copulate with?
Nope. That's a common misconception.
Oh.
It's an Indian thing.
Oh.
Yeah, definitely an Indian thing. A lot of people think so. No. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, the Egyptians are the ones that, like, you give the family a bunch of money to get engaged.
I'd say most of the East and
Is it?
Africa, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you give the family a bunch of money to get engaged, and then that's when you kind of start dating, but it's on the...
No, that comes afterwards. The dowry means you're getting married.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, because when...
You don't give no gifts until you're going to get the girl.
Okay. Well, right, but when Dave and Susanna...
When you buy her.
Right.
Yeah.
When Dave and Susanna first started dating,
yeah,
they weren't allowed to date until, like, they were essentially engaged.
Oh, wow. No.
And like a dowry had to be given and everything.
No.
Kind of.
I remember.
I mean, Dave was a broke college student at the time, so the dowry was not.
Yeah. No, I remember my dad, because I asked him, you know, like, some of the family members, like his brother was friends, or his sister was friends with my mother or my mother's sister. And I guess they exchanged pictures with each other. And this is like back in the mid-70s or something. No, yeah, I'd say about mid-70s. And then my dad went to my grandfather, said he was interested in marrying my mother. And then their dates, quote unquote, was basically a bunch of times when my dad would go and spend time with the family and spend time with my mother in her own house, on the balcony, just talking, you know. And grandpa could have said no at any time, mom could have said no at any time, dad could have said no at any time. So it's different depending on what part of the world you're at. Some, obviously, like South Asia will go to that extreme of hooking the kids up when they're like children, basically. So when they're of age, they're married.
Right. That's weird. Like the way that my entire family's done it is,
you get drunk and you have a kid and you get married.
No,
the American way.
No. The American way, yeah. No, I don't think anybody in my family did it that way.
Okay.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think anybody in my family did it that way. Oh, well, actually, my great-grandmother did it that way, sort of.
Yeah.
But yeah, we date a bunch of people and kind of go, which one of these people do I want to continue dating?
Yeah.
Or which one of these people wants to continue dating me? And then that's the person I'm just going to end up with. And yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But you know, it's like, so like nobody wants to continue dating me after a while because I'm really annoying. So that's why I'm still here talking to you.
Yep.
That also means that I'm single.
Let's see. I haven't been on Netflix as I usually have been this past week. I've been watching this show called The Killing, which I never found out if it was one of the good shows or not, but I hadn't heard about it until I watched it on Netflix. It's about two detectives.
Yeah, I saw the first season of it.
Okay. And surprisingly, it was interesting enough, although I cannot get used to the way people from Seattle apparently talk. I don't know. I just, my problems with people not from the South, obviously. But, man, there was a part of the part of the show, man, in season 3 that involved the death penalty. And I'm not going to give anything away, but the death penalty, and it really makes you question the death penalty and whether we should be putting people to death or not. And yesterday, I watched a movie called 66 Days. It's a documentary about Bobby Sands. He's a Irish Republican Army volunteer that had, been part of that violence in the early to late 70s. They'd shoot, bomb British governments and their families even, which is really, really sad. No one supports that. My friend told me to watch it, and the IRA and the Northern Ireland is like a really sore topic still to this day, surprisingly.
Right.
And, I even asked my mom, back then, that, what was going on in Ireland even made its way all the way to Egypt, which really surprised the shit out of me. But I guess it was like a global phenomenon, what was going on. Anyways, it follows the story of Bob Sands, basically realizing that it's best for the Irish men and women to show their struggle and suffering to win their freedom, rather than to just go around bombing and killing people indiscriminately. Which some people agree with that within the IRA, and some don't, and that was the big thing. He starved himself to death over 66 days, is what he did in prison, where the British were holding him. It's a really good documentary if you want to read about, or if you want to learn about the IRA.
I don't know why that. Well, I do know why that reminded me of this, but what happened to the guy that was having the poop strike?
They all did that.
Well, no, there was a guy recently. He had the record. He was
in prison?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I don't know. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, he got arrested. I'm not going to say he definitely did this.
Okay.
But he swallowed the drugs. And they said they were holding him in jail and waiting for him to get the evidence. So he was refusing to poop. That was really loud in my ears. But yeah, he was refusing to poop. And they kept holding him, and they kept extending how long they could hold him because he was not going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And they had a Twitter watch on it. They were like, day 23 of poop watch, and he was like, nope, still hasn't done it. And
so did he starve himself so he doesn't poop?
They were I think they started force feeding him.
Yeah, and you'd have to, because your bowel ain't gonna move if there's nothing there.
Right. They started force feeding him, and he was still like, no, I'm not gonna do it.
That is bad. Physically for your health, that is bad to hold a shit.
He said, I will die before I do this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which means, I think he swallowed him.
Well, the way That's not the same as what the Irish did.
No, I know.
They
But
put their, what the Irish did was put their poop on the wall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so very different. They were trying to. It was a thing they did, self-inflicted filth, I guess. They tried like throwing their shit out the fucking jail cells and all that. And the British would pick up their shit and throw it back in their jail cells. When I saw that, I was like, what? And they started just smearing their poop all over the walls. It was pretty fucking nasty, actually.
Yeah.
So I saw pictures. I was like, oh my God. And they tear up pieces of their mattresses on the floor to, help paint the feces on. So I don't know how sickness did not run rampant through that prison.
I'm certain it did.
Maybe. I didn't see any mention of it. You're probably right.
I was going to say, I'm pretty certain it did.
Yeah. But, it's a very interesting movie. It mentions a little bit about, because of the time frame, leftist socialist movements infiltrated the IRA and made it more violent than what it should have been, which to me is really weird because left socialists are not nationalistic. So it was really confusing to me, how they justified that, like a nationalist movement of that kind. But regardless, check it out, 66 Days, Bobby Sands.
All right. Well, you have the topic list today. I don't, so you're going to have to run this thing.
Oh, okay. Well, speaking of shit on the walls, Donald Trump wants to get the United States out of Syria. That's bound to put a lot of shit on someone's walls.
Right.
John Bolton.
He's going
to start putting shit on his wall because there's less war. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, he's going to start putting shit on the wall because he's like, wait, no.
Who was that Fourth Amendment guy that you said, fuck that guy? Was it a Fourth Amendment guy? It's a congressman of some kind. If it wasn't Fourth Amendment, it might have been Second Amendment, but I'm sure it was not the Second Amendment. It's something that had to do with like spying and all that, and you really hate this guy. You've never said the F word so many times about a person. Regardless.
I was going to say...
Fuck John Bolton.
Yeah, fuck John Bolton. The guy from California.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't remember that dude's name. Yeah, but yeah, I definitely said the F word about him a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Trump ordered the government to... This might be a State Department thing to freeze $200 million in Syria that was going to be used for like reconstruction and all this other bullshit with what's going on there. But he wants us out of Syria, which is a very very good thing.
Which is
it's about time.
Which is especially strange since France is like getting ready to back up.
Yes. Oh, did you read that article? Same article?
Probably.
Yeah. So yeah, France.
Was it on our wall?
Well,
today?
yeah. Well, yeah. France suggested that they can commit troops to help the United States mission in Syria. So I did not see anything about where that's coming from, if they're just randomly saying it. And Trump, regardless, wants to get out of Syria, which is about time. I think Iraq needs to be next. Although one of my friends said Afghanistan should be next. Honestly, get the hell out of all of it at the same time. But get out of Iraq next. I mean, if you have to choose.
Afghanistan. We've been in Afghanistan longer than any other country.
Mm-hmm.
And it is time for us.
People like your phone?
Yeah, the people like the phone.
Yeah.
But it's definitely time for us to get out of these countries. We don't need to be there. We should have never been in Afghanistan. We should have never been in Iraq. We should have never gone into Syria. We definitely should have bombed them last year.
Yeah. Did you say Afghanistan on your list?
Yeah, that was number one.
Oh, okay. I agree. Just because it's the thing is, we went in to fight Al Qaeda and parts of the Taliban.
Right.
But something that I don't know how I just found this out recently. Ron Paul actually voted for going into Afghanistan to deal with Osama bin Laden, and didn't for Iraq. I found this out. I'm not making that up. So it really surprised me when I saw that. I was like, oh shit. He believes that as a response to what Al Qaeda had done, that we should respond. Right. But he also did not want us or expect us to be in there for that long.
Right.
Is what he said. So I found that pretty interesting.
And, like, I think that
I don't know if I agree with Ron that much. I'm just telling you what I found out because I'm sure you didn't know either.
No. I don't think that we should be attacked unless there's an actual attack on us or a serious threat.
Yeah.
And then, us just saying that somebody has weapons of mass destruction is not a serious threat against us.
True.
It's not until an actual threat is being made.
Yeah.
But so after the 9/11 attacks, you were going after an organization.
Yeah, exactly.
I get that.
Yeah.
I do.
But it's like, how do you find that organization?
Right.
Well, really you're fighting an ideology of like terrorism that is fueled sort of by, it's got a lot of Islamic undertones. So you're fighting an idea, which is, every time you kill one, there's another one ready to join in.
Right.
Yeah.
You take out one terrorist organization and it just moves to a separate terrorist.
Well, you're never going to remove a whole terrorist organization. I meant on an individual level. You kill one guy, there's another ready to step in, like his brother or something,
Right.
And actually, this is sort of on topic, but not on the list. Another thing, this is one of the things that they had said that might get Trump the Nobel Peace Prize is his willingness to meet with North and South Korea to
Kim Jong-un?
Yeah.
The little rocket man?
Yeah, to make peace. And I guess China is on our side with this.
Yeah.
And they're basically forcing Kim's hand to end the nuclear proliferation programs. And it might work. And if that works, that's a huge win for, in my opinion, everybody. Even though, I believe in the freedom to do whatever you want in your country, but if the world is so fucking stupid and they don't want you to have them, like, think about what's good for your country and the region. Like, North Korea is a big fucking regional black hole. So
they win Earth Day every year.
Yeah, they do.
They win Earth Day every year.
Yeah.
You got to give them credit where credit's due.
Yep.
They use the least amount of energy on Earth Day every year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And actually every other day.
Do you know what the communists used before they used candles? To have light in their homes? Electricity. Lol. Keck.
Praise Keck. Praise Keck. God, that's such a bad joke.
Yeah,
I mean, it's so true.
It's like
it's such
kind of a dad joke, I guess.
Yeah. I'm gonna actually call my dad and tell him that one later.
Funny enough, if you go on YouTube, you can type in Reagan communist jokes, and he's got a bunch of them that he said during some fucking speech. I don't know what the speech was.
That was during one of the press corps speeches.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of those.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, I know that a lot of our listeners don't agree with me on this, and a lot of them do. But we are not Team America World Police. And we're not here to police the world. America, fuck yeah. Like, we're here to police America.
So a lot of our listeners don't? No, I'd say a lot of them are on our side.
Right, I said both.
Oh, okay.
I covered both those bases.
Yeah.
I like walked to first and then stole second on that one.
Okay.
Also, it's baseball season. Very excited.
Yep.
But yeah, like we don't need to be policing the world. We need to be policing our nation. We need to be making sure, like what we were talking about last week. Was last week when Taylor was on? Yeah. Mm-hmm. How we're giving $10 million to Egyptian children for scholarships, and we're helping European countries with their immigration.
Some of that money needs to come this way.
Right. Like, why are we spending the money on their immigration?
Oh, no. I meant I'm an Egyptian child.
Oh, yeah, that too. And, I mean, you are dual citizen, right?
No, hell no.
No?
I wouldn't have gotten a security clearance otherwise. Yeah. And actually, the United States does not recognize a dual citizenship. But if you have one and you plan to work with classified information, you do have to renounce your other one.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's how that works.
So you can't get any of that 10 million.
No, born here. That's how it's always been. I remember asking my parents about it years ago. They just never went out of their way to get me. They could have, but they didn't, which I'm okay with.
Right.
And the Saudi Arabia, for example, is the opposite from that. You met my youngest sister, Maram. She was born in Saudi Arabia, but she only has an Egyptian one. Saudi Arabia does not give non-Saudi people citizenships.
Interesting.
Yeah. Shows you how racist those people are.
Well, yeah.
Except for Sal.
Is that racist or is that nationalist?
Both.
Okay.
Because Saudis can be pretty racist.
Well,
so, like in a lot of the indentured servitude that happens in Saudi Arabia is towards Egyptians, Arabs that are not from the Gulf.
But there is a long line of history proving Egyptians are good workers.
Oh yeah, we're the best.
I mean, really good workers.
Oh yeah, we're the best. We're also all over Kuwait. We work everything, man.
Right. I mean,
that's one of the things I noticed.
Thousands of years of history proves that Egyptians are very hard workers.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things I noticed when I was in Kuwait is the Egyptians fucking do everything there. There's over 1 million or so in Kuwait, small tiny country. Egyptians are there, they do all the work, and the Kuwaitis are the ones that fucking buy Ferraris and shit.
Sounds like the Kuwaitis got a really great Ponzi scheme going on. Built on the backs of the Egyptians. Okay, completely off topic. How up to date are you on your homeland's politics?
A little bit. They just had an election.
Yeah. Okay, so I was being told about this the other day.
Okay, from
yeah.
Uh-huh.
From my best friend's wife through my best friend. Because he was asking me if I knew anything about it, and I was supposed to ask you about it, so I'm just going to ask you about it here.
Okay.
So the guy, the president or prime minister, got reelected.
President, yeah.
The president got reelected. And he basically ran unopposed, and that was because everybody else that was running either died or got arrested.
Yeah, pretty much.
Did he do that?
Well, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the bad thing about Egypt. You know, a lot of people think it's dangerous for Westerners to go and visit and tour. It's mostly pretty much, unless you're going to engage in political things, which you should not, definitely. Westerners are absolutely fine in Egypt. Even Israelis go all the time.
Okay.
So you're fine unless you're going to engage in political things, which one Italian student did and was disappeared, some belief by the government, and then his body was found on the side of the road in the desert.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's if you engage with the resistance movement in Egypt, yeah, you're going to disappear.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And it's funny because he got like 90-something% of the vote. Right. And that's how Mubarak, that's why people rose up against Mubarak, is like people started waking up. This was at the turn, this is like 2010. This is or 2009, I think, when cell phones were getting really nice and you started getting these big, large screens on them and you can take, the cameras were becoming a lot better on the phones.
Right.
People, patriots that were within the government filmed the other dickwads that were stuffing ballots for Mubarak and all that, and he had made, I believe, like 70-something% of the vote. And, you know, compared to the United States, where it's like a couple thousand votes per difference or tens of thousands of votes or so, 1,000 votes or so per state, or a couple hundred votes discrepancy between the votes per state, per county, I mean. That's a wide margin. Nobody fucking wins like that anywhere.
No.
Which I believe so did Putin recently. Like, didn't he get or did he just win?
He won. I don't know by what margin.
Oh, okay.
I don't know by what margin, but yeah. What's the joke that they have going around online? What's the difference between Hillary Clinton and Putin?
What?
Putin can win a rigged election?
Yeah, right? Oh, man.
Yeah.
Don't kill us, Putin.
He finds it funny.
Yeah.
Because obviously we're working for him, so it's fine.
Oh, yeah, we are Russian spies.
Right, we're Russian spies. We're Russian bots.
Yeah. Speaking of voting, though, there's a Texas mother, right?
Right.
And in Texas.
Really? Is she from Texas?
Yeah,
Oh,
Texas
interesting.
mother
Okay.
from Texas. In 2011, she voted. She's a felon.
Okay.
So everybody, this is the topic of restoring rights to felons. Is that how you would word that?
Sure.
Yeah.
The restoration of voting rights?
Yeah, to felons. And
The only people that can really lose them?
yeah. And, are we on the same page on like restoring voting rights?
I think that we're probably on the same page on restoring all rights.
Okay. Oh, okay, perfect. That was going to be my follow-up, too. So this mother was put in prison for, and her husband, they had fraudulent charges relating to a tax preparation company that they had. Served time in prison, got out, voted. So her name was not on the ballot list. However, a poll volunteer, a poll worker, gave her a preliminary or provisional ballot and helped her fill it out and everything. And she didn't know that felons lose their right to vote. And I believe her, because I've had the problem, which we talked about last week, where they'll suspend your license and not tell you. And it's like,
Oh, yeah.
and then they'll pull you over. Hey, do you know you have a suspended license? And it's like, no. And they even know that. That's why if you
Is that how you found out?
Yeah.
You got pulled over and found out?
Yeah. He told me I have a suspended license. And I was like, sir, I didn't know. So how law enforcement does it is, and there's two ways to charge that. Either you're driving on a suspended license with or without knowledge.
Right.
I think that with knowledge, you'll get arrested on the spot. And I truly did not know, and that's the problem. Is, and this goes back to the whole. There are so many laws on the book, from the federal to the state to the county to the city levels, that you're breaking all kinds of laws, and you don't even know. Like,
Right.
We're all criminals in some fashion.
Yeah, I think that study came out 2 years ago, where they said that on average you commit 7 felonies a day.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, some of us commit way more than that, and
Yeah.
we understand it.
Yeah.
And then others, you're committing 7 felonies of laws you didn't know exist.
Yeah. And our thing is, how you punish somebody, fine. That's a restorative punishment, like you paid the price for the crime.
You paid your debt to society.
Yeah, why? And I'll meet people halfway, but why does a felon that has had a caught with a roach, that's what you call those, right? The little tiny.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't smoke. Shit. A felon caught with a very small amount of marijuana, or a felon. There's so many. I mean, I don't know what all the felonies are. Fraud felony. Shit. There's a few more that I can't think of. Nonviolent
Nonviolent crime
felons. They pay their time, but then they come out. They can't vote. They can't own a gun, so on and so forth. Yet, and they're still paying taxes, and that's really a whole no taxation without representation thing. How are they being represented if they can't vote?
Right.
And it's sad to see that. And what her lawyer was saying is, he thinks it's, and I agree with him, he thinks it's laughable that the government thinks that she's lying about that. And I don't think she lied, because I didn't. Oh, here's the other thing. So I told you that I had to pay $160 yesterday to restore my suspension on my tags, registration, and driving license.
Right.
When I went in there a month ago, the gentleman that was helping me out, the asshole that was helping me out, because he actually was.
Well, he works at the DMV.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a special breed of person.
Yeah. The guy that was helping me out at the DMV told me that, and I hadn't been paying my insurance for a few months, that since I did not have insurance, I should have turned my tags in to the DMV. I didn't know that. I never knew that. I mean, you can say, how don't you know that? I don't know. But I didn't know that. So there you go. I'm paying $160 for a crime I did not willingly or knowingly commit.
Right.
So I don't agree. This is sort of off topic. I don't agree with the whole ignorance of the law, however that line goes.
Ignorance of the law is not an excuse for breaking the law.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid. If you don't know that something is a law, you don't know it's a law.
It's called the Hillary Clinton defense.
Yeah, right.
The good old Hillary Clinton defense. Oh, I didn't know I couldn't do that. I didn't know. I was unaware. That doesn't work for...
Which is actually a lie.
That doesn't work for normal people.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this like last year, at the turn of the election, basically. Which, in my opinion, is a lie, because every time you get a security clearance, which he had, you get briefed on the do's and don'ts of classified information. I know that as somebody that's had both a secret and a top secret clearance. You're told what you can, what you can't. In the military, we have the NIPR and the SIPR, different lines of communication. NIPR's unclassified, SIPR is classified. So no, you know that everybody that deals with classified information in the United States knows that there are encrypted, classified lines of communications, and then there are unclassified ways to communicate. So if something's not classified, can go through any channel, preferably the open channels. If something is classified, it must. We even had printers on their own network for the classified stuff. Their own printers and scanners. That's how serious it is. So she lied about that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there was never any question in my mind on whether or not she lied about it. She just wanted to not get into any trouble.
Yeah. And, when I was saying, like, I'll meet people halfway, I even believe that violent criminals that serve their time, I believe, should get restored. I can meet you halfway most of their rights.
Right.
Although sometimes I'd like to believe all of their rights. Who's to say that people cannot truly change?
Yeah, and that's okay. So that's one of the things. When the first time that we had Yehuda Reamer on the show, he was talking about the right to fire weapon, the right to bear arms shall not be infringed, and then he said he qualified it with unless you're a felon.
Yes.
To which we had somebody.
He's more conservative.
I know. To which we had somebody on the show say, "I thought they weren't to be infringed."
Ha!
Yeah. I don't remember who it was that commented.
Yeah,
that, but I saw it.
We can give that to Adam.
Right. It wasn't him. But but the way I see it, okay, so the way I see this is if you commit a crime, any crime, and even if it's a violent one, you pay your debt to society. You go through your jail time, you go through the probationary period after it. After that, all of your rights should come back.
I agree.
All of them.
Oh, I remembered one of the other felonies. DMX is going to prison for a year for
making bad rap music?
Tax evasion.
Oh. Well,
that's another felony that's, in my opinion, victimless.
100% victimless.
And the funny thing is you didn't pay your taxes, so we're putting you in prison on the taxpayer's dime. Because you didn't pay your taxes.
Didn't pay your taxes.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah, Wesley Snipes had the same thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah, so here in Florida, if for them to call something like a gun-related incident or gun-related crime is idiotic. Like, I could beat you with a baseball bat and nothing. Like, yeah, I would get in trouble. But it is, I don't remember what this is. I was talking to my lawyer.
This is their tools argument, right?
No. If I beat you with a baseball bat, just as I am right now, I would get like 10 years in jail. Then I'm just making up that number. Mm-hmm. If I beat you with a baseball bat and I have a gun, concealed carry on me,
yeah.
It goes up like 3 times.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't pull the gun, I have it on me. So then it's a gun-related crime.
Yeah, you or somebody else yesterday was telling me if you hold up a store clerk through like a hoodie and you act like you have a gun hidden, it's a gun-related crime.
Right. And that's why, like, a lot of people are like, I don't think people who have been convicted of gun-related crimes should be able to own weapons. And that's my argument for it. If I beat you with a baseball bat and I have a concealed weapon on me, that's a gun-related crime because I have a gun.
Even though you didn't even use the gun.
Even though I didn't use it.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, no, once you pay your debt to society, get it back. What about murderers and blah, blah, blah? Murderers shouldn't be getting back out.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It just shouldn't happen.
Oh, of course.
Right,
Yeah.
Like,
No, somebody murders. That's why we're, yeah.
Right. And, well, we have overcrowding in jails. Stop arresting people for drugs.
Yeah, that's always that's the easiest thing to go to every single time. Well, there's too many people in jail. Okay, about half of them are
victimless
people. They're in there for victimless crimes like trafficking, which is a victimless crime. If you don't agree with me, fight me.
Depends on what kind of trafficking.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Drug trafficking.
There you go.
Very victimless. Child and person trafficking. Yeah, the victim is the product.
Right. I was like, well, let's roll that one back a little.
Yeah. No worries. But yeah, drug trafficking, victimless. Because some people are trying to argue with me that it isn't, because they believe that crimes that happen around the purchase of drugs, for example, is what makes drug traffickers bad. But you can have two different kinds of traffickers that sell to two different locations to two different types of demographics. So not there could be you could have a heroin trafficker that sells to high class people that have the money to pay for it. And you could have another drug trafficker selling heroin to where half of his patrons are killing and stealing money.
Right.
But that is its own crime. It has nothing to do with the actual transaction of the drug.
Right.
And then when you apply tobacco laws and definitely alcohol prohibition, and afterwards, that whole argument to me falls apart. So.
Yeah. Doing drugs and selling drugs is a victimless crime. It's like prostitution. Why am I blanking on that word? Agreeable prostitution.
What are you trying to do?
Not forced prostitution, but consensual prostitution.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
She's like, okay, I need to make however much money, so I'm going to go out and do this.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I like having sex and may as well get paid for it. Or he's like, I like having sex, may as well get paid for it. And
yeah.
Or not the trafficking version of prostitution.
Yeah, pimps and all that.
Right. But yeah, like prostitution, drugs, victimless crimes. 100%.
Yeah,
like,
and
they're consensual transactions between two adults.
Yeah, and those are the kind of people filling up the prisons.
Right.
At least half of them, I believe, is the number.
Right.
But, here's the thing. And this is, I guess, a seamless transition. Speaking of voting rights, let's go back to the gun control debate. The Democrats and a lot of people that agree with the whole March for Our Lives movement and gun control and all that, a lot of people have been saying, after the stardom now of David Hogg, Emma Gonzalez, and the three other that I cannot remember their names.
Yeah, they aren't as popular.
Yeah, they're saying these kids are, whatever the argument is, we need to reduce the voting age to 16 or something like that. And, this comes to the bullying argument of them. Sean, we can talk about this later. I know you're watching. So we're going to reduce that. Let's say we do reduce the voting age to 16.
Oh God.
How can they be shielded from public criticism if they're engaging in influencing the national policy. In the policy and politics of the government? If you're going to vote, you're influencing a lot of lives. Right. That's whether you're a libertarian or not. This is the fact. of
Jack.
the government being around. The government influences lives, and if you vote for somebody at the age of 16, you just elected somebody that's going to be doing whatever it is you want him to do, basically.
Right.
So yeah, we want to get these kids to vote at 16, but should we still shield them from the national debate? I'd like a fair response to that in the comments if anybody wants to. But I believe that they should. I believe that whether they get their voting rights or not, if you're engaging in politics, especially the way they are being public figures now, as even they are classified on like Wikipedia, if you look up their names.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you should.
On Google,
you
Wikipedia,
can,
all that.
And it's not. I'm sorry, it's not bullying. We're calling them out on the things that they want done, and that is fair and square. Whether it's David Hogg being against gun control, or whether it's a bunch of Nazi kids that are talking about white supremacy. And no, I am not saying that David Hogg is a Nazi, but because you call him a Nazi? No, I am actually
Why
not
are you calling
David
Hogg a Nazi?
And I have not once ever supported the idea of bullying them, blaming them for being victims, for not being nice. Like, never. I feel bad for what happened to them. Everybody should, which is one of the things. Whether we're talking in a kava bar or you watch the online debates on our walls and on other friends talking about guns and the gun control folks, they say like, we don't want school shootings to happen anymore. We're against our children dying. Who the fuck isn't?
Right.
What, you think just because we're for the Second Amendment, since we disagree on that, then we also disagree with children dying? That's so, I don't know what the word is.
Obtuse.
I guess obtuse, we don't think that. That's so stupid.
Country. Yeah.
Nobody's for that, except psychopath.
Right. But I mean, it is a go-to argument that people get, like that people on the left go to. They're like, well, we don't want children to die. Nobody does.
Yes.
Right?
Nobody does.
Well, we want to stop rape. Trust us. So do we. We're not like, yay, rape. Right? Like, nobody's fighting for the things that you say you're fighting against.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not one person.
Yeah.
Nobody's on the side of that. Interesting stat that I read today. Recently, this year, drug overdoses have surpassed gun deaths.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Meaning that, one, the war on drugs has failed.
Mm-hmm.
Failed miserably.
Yeah.
And that by getting rid of something doesn't stop people from doing it.
Exactly.
So...
And let me tell you something. This is another part of the conversation that I have written on here. In California, God damn it, I forgot the term. That there's a very specific term they have for these guns in California. I think they're called off-registry firearms. That could be I think that's the phrase. Off-registry firearms that can only be bought by law enforcement officers and military personnel or something like that.
Okay.
2 law enforcement officers in California.
Oh, is this the thing that we shared?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got arrested and charged with, weapons trafficking of about 100 or more than 100 weapons. One of them ended up being in a felon's hand. I did not find any information on what that felon specifically did. But it was one felon out of the 99. And if we want to trust, not we, because I don't, but if you want to trust the government so much with taking away our guns, providing security for us, however you want to mental gymnastics that, then how, with these 100, guns sold by our government officials, which I guess law enforcement officers are considered law enforcement officials, how do you justify that? You're okay with us not having guns, but I mean, obviously you're not okay with illegal guns being sold. But my point here being is the government itself cannot be trusted either with following its own laws.
Right. I mean, like we have said in the past, and at least 6 of the last main shooters, main mass shooters, had multiple warnings about them sent to law enforcement, and it wasn't followed up on. Or,
we were talking about that yesterday.
Right.
Like, if I agree, even, which I never would, because I believe it is an inherent right to own a weapon of any kind, up to and including, let's stick within the current framework, AR-15s,
right.
Oh, crap. What did you just say? Oh, yes. Okay, let's say I can get on board with agreeing with this ban. When it comes to Nicholas Cruz, ignore the bullying even. Ignore the bullying argument.
Right.
Okay? This kid has had law enforcement called on him like over 40 times. He's had character issues, mental health problems that have been verified, reported on multiple times.
Yep.
There was an FBI tip sent in about him.
I think there was like 42 separate
incidents. Yeah. And then you got that FBI tip.
Oddly enough, 42 is the answer to the life.
Jesus.
To the secret to the universe and life.
Yeah. FBI tip that was ignored. All of that to get if I agree with you on banning guns, how do you ignore all the other things that didn't stop it from happening that should have stopped it from happening?
Right.
How ban the guns, there will still be guns out there. Okay, fine, let's ban all the guns. When this kid gets on there and starts shooting, and none of this stuff stopped him, and law enforcement officers outside didn't stop him, how do you justify that? What are you going to do now? That's always my question. What are you going to do now? 2015, gun crime rises in the UK by 42% over a period of 10 years, I think.
Right.
What are you going to do? Ban guns harder?
But
they're banned.
But Muhammad, what about Australia? What about Australia, Muhammad?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Australia's gun crime rate was going down at the same level it was before their ban, and
which it has been definitely across across the world. It's definitely in the developed world.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean that didn't actually change anything.
Exactly.
In fact, their violent crime rate went up, and also they changed the age.
Yeah, that's the problem of defining what a mass shooting is.
Right.
Yeah.
They changed the number of what constitutes a mass shooting versus not. So yeah, it looks like there's less.
Yeah, because I mean one of the things they used to define mass shootings as well is if other crimes were done aside from the shooting. So like a store shooting where somebody kills 4 people in the act of robbery is not considered
not
a mass shooting.
Right.
Regardless, I want to read this quote real quick for everybody. This is from a book called The Law by Frédéric Bastiat. He's a French philosopher and economist. I may have mentioned him before. I may have read this quote before. It's one of my favorite quotes from...
And trust me, you just want to get the cliff notes of that book.
Yeah. No, it's a short book.
No,
you're thinking... I don't know. Maybe you're thinking of Human Action or something.
I might be thinking of Human
Yeah.
Action.
No, The Law is about 90 pages. It's
okay.
very, very easy to read. It's one I usually give out to people that want to... that ask a lot of leftists that ask me a lot about the stuff I say. I hand them The Law, and that explains a lot of where I'm coming from when it comes to the government.
Right.
And, well, he says, if the natural tendencies of mankind are so bad that it is not safe to permit people to be free, how is it that the tendencies of these organizers are always good, organizers being the government? Do not the legislators and their appointed agents also belong to the human race? Or do they believe that they themselves are made of a finer clay than the rest of mankind? That's exactly what describes these officers and anybody else in the government that does not follow their own laws. They're people just like us. There are people in the government like me, Matt, your dad, your mom, and the asshole from work. It's all kinds of people, and some of them are good and some of them are bad. If it's dangerous for us to be free, then why do you think the government is to be trusted when it's made up of people?
Right.
Yeah.
If humans err, which they do, to err is human, to forgive is divine. Right? Humans make mistakes. Our government's made up of people. So either you believe that these people are divine and able to forgive, in which case all humans are that way.
Yep.
But you can't take away guns saying people are monsters without admitting that it's also a very real and probable possibility that the government is also made up of monsters.
Yes. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
There is no way to do it.
Yeah. Watch, any kind of show that has to do with law enforcement, except for cops. Definitely more fictional shows. Dirty Cop is a real thing.
Yeah.
That is not just something on television. There are cops that are part.
Go watch The Shield.
Yeah, they're part. They join. They do.
One, it's a great
they
show.
do crimes when they hide behind their badges. And that's illegal. But it happens.
Right.
I
mean, it's illegal even if they don't have the badge.
Yes, exactly. That's the whole point about
Right.
this.
Right. We got like 5 minutes left, so.
We can talk about the last thing I have written on here. Really is Venezuela. And it's so stupid.
The currency thing, or
yeah. It's funny. So like Venezuela, Maduro, he just implemented a new policy. Right. This is listen to this. This is the policy. They have out of control inflation in Venezuela right now. Nearing Germany post World War One, nearing Zimbabwe. I think it's Zimbabwe that went to the dollar after they destroyed their currency. One of the countries down there in Africa. I'm sorry, a lot of the countries in Africa. So here's how he's dealing with the problem of inflation. It's not dealing with the problem of inflation. It's a mind game for economically illiterate people, which I would say, with all due respect, includes most of the population of all countries in the world. If you don't read and study economics, there are just things you don't know, and that's fine. He's shaving three zeros off of their bills to make the bill smaller. But inflation really is the amount of rotating bills in the whole economy.
The way I saw this was actually great news for me, because I took the 3 zeros that he took off of their dollar and I put it on the end of what I have, and like suddenly I'm not broke.
Jesus, that doesn't work.
Didn't work when he did it, but
exactly. Yeah. So he's not making any monetary changes to deal with the inflation in his country. He's only thing he's doing is shaving off 3 zeros. So if you have $1 million bill, it's now
100,000.
No, 3 zeros.
Sorry,
$1,000.
$1,000.
So now it's $1,000. So it makes it look like you have. It makes it look like there's more money, or there's less money floating around in the system, but there isn't. The paper's still there.
Right.
The paper's all over the place.
Right. The paper is still worthless.
Yeah, and it's gonna work for a little bit,
right,
until people realize, well, look, there's all these dollars out there. And actually, he made it worse because they're not how they're collect. I mean, this is the only way to do it. They're circulating the old currency out, as they get back into the system, out of people's pockets and out of banks towards the government. They take those out. So while printing already the new ones, like this is gonna be bad when it hits.
Oh, it's gonna be awful. It's gonna be awful. Real quick, since we're coming up on the end of the show, and if we're gonna do this topic at all, it should probably come at the end of the show.
Okay.
A memo came out this week from Facebook. It got leaked. It's called the Ugly Memo. And if you haven't looked this up...
Damn, I haven't seen it. Yeah, I haven't read it yet.
Yeah. If you haven't looked this up, you need to look it up. I'm bringing it up at the end of the show because if they cut us, this is why. A memo came out from the Facebook higher-ups, and they said the growth of Facebook, above all things, they don't care if people die.
Yeah.
They don't care about bullying. They don't care about the Facebook Lives where people are getting shot. They don't care about any of it. Facebook growth above all else.
Yeah.
And this is the platform we all use to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Or for David Hawk to do
or
this
for
kind of
David,
stuff.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
For David, just this is the platform that we are using, that everybody uses to spout our political beliefs, to show pictures of food, because Instagram's owned by Facebook.
Yeah.
To make phone calls when people can't get cell service, because they also own WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Right. Facebook.
Do they really?
Yeah.
So, wait.
Do you know how I learned that?
How?
I learned that from either Quiz Show or HQ.
Okay. I did not know, because the thing about WhatsApp that was so good is they 100% respect encryption and the private communications that happen through WhatsApp. So are they fucking with that? That's a whole other system probably that they're not messing too much with.
Can't
No
say
comment.
anything.
No comment
Yeah,
then.
I can't say. All I know is that they own it.
Wow.
But yes, they said in this memo, it doesn't matter if people die.
Wow.
Growth above all else.
Yeah.
So remember that every time that you hop onto the platform that you are probably watching us on.
Yeah.
And just think about that.
Yeah.
And remember there are other social media platforms out there.
Yeah, I believe the article is on BuzzFeed, right?
That blew my goddamn mind,
Yeah, me
because I was
too.
on Drudge Report, and the lead article was about Facebook ugly memo, and it came from BuzzFeed. And I was like,
makes
the
sense.
Drudge Report is reporting BuzzFeed.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well,
Yeah.
but now I've seen it in a bunch of different places. Read the entire memo. It's insane.
Yeah.
I didn't pull it up because I didn't know we were going to talk about it.
Yeah.
But we had
No
5 minutes
worries.
left.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if we're going to get killed today,
Yeah.
like cut,
Makes
not
sense.
killed, not murdered. I
Yeah.
don't think Zuck's going to come and have a shot.
However, we did talk about Hillary, so
Right. Well, yeah, but Zuck's
both of us suicided ourselves
yeah.
at the same time.
But Zuck's not coming to kill us. But yeah, so just remember that anytime that you're like, oh, I need to Facebook.
Yeah.
All hail.
Yeah.
All hail Facebook. Anyway, I
Yeah.
just wanted to let everybody know about that.
No, good. Yeah.
Look it up. The Ugly Memo. Just Google the Ugly Memo Facebook, and you'll definitely find it.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, I got nothing else to say.
Cool. Well, just so everybody knows, the music that was playing at the beginning of the show is from Alden Rest out of Nashville, Tennessee. He's a good friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And we will be playing that at the closing of the show. You can find him on Instagram at Instagram.com/muddy. You can't find him at Muddied Waters of Freedom. You can find us there. Alden, Alden Rest, Rest. And that was the name of the song is Pray for Me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thank you once more to Low Tide Cattle Bar.
Thank you.
Bula.
Well.
And remember, you can find us at facebook.com/Muddied Waters of Freedom. You can find us on Instagram at Instagram.com/Muddied Waters of Freedom. You can find us on Twitter at Muddied_Waters, or we can always be found everywhere at MuddiedWatersOfFreedom.com.
All right, guys. Remember.
Hang on.
To hang on.
Right.
Hang on to, your faith. And your fellow human being.
Okay. Now you can say it.
And also, make sure to remember that where we're going,
we don't need roads.
Pray for me and I'll pray for you. No matter who you are praying to.
I say listen way too much without listening to myself, and I keep wishing way too much instead of doing something else. Wishing for more wishes, cause I keep on hitting misses, keep on rubbing on these lamps like I'm cleaning dirty dishes. Wish I not only knew the difference between wrong and right, but that I could live it out so that I could be a better light. Take me to the mountain, let me shout it out. Is there anybody out there to
Pray for me and I'll pray for you. No matter who you are praying to. Send them out 'cause I need it now. Ain't enough till it's raining down. So pray for me and I'll pray for you. I'll pray for you.
Yeah, there's power in your prayer, just like there's power if you dare to find your power everywhere that you go. Words are powerful, so is silence. We all need reminders that nobody is an island, oh no. So don't leave me alone. Wish I not only knew the difference between wrong and right, but that I could live it out so that I could be a better light. Take me to the mountain, let me shout it out. Is there anybody out there to
Pray for me and I'll pray for you. No matter who you are praying to, send them out 'cause I need it now. Ain't enough till it's raining down. So pray for me and I'll pray for you. I'll pray for you.
pray for me? Yeah, I pray for you. We're down on our knees again, so what else can we do but
Pray for me and I'll pray for you. No matter who you are praying to, send them out 'cause I need it now. Ain't enough till it's raining down. So pray for me and I'll pray for you.